No, Darby, no, no, no!
That dirty rat!
Director Donald Farmer brings us Darby's Scream House. We have reviewed a few Donald Farmer movies, and they normally star Jessa Flux, who also stars in this one and co-wrote this with Farmer. Flux is also a producer on the movie, and clearly this is a kind of parody movie from the Barbie movie that we had with the star Margot Robbie, and this is a very cheap B-movie horror comedy. What's the story? Okay, well, we have this reality where it is everyone is toys, you know, but they're just humans, and this very much like the kind of the Barbie movie, I suppose. Everyone here is a variation of a Barbie of some kind, or most people. Jessa Flux plays our main Darby, and we have her boyfriend Ben. And Ben wants to sort out a kind of surprise party for Darby's birthday. So he goes and talks to the other Darbys to try and organise something, but he is spotted by Darby's sister Tipper, who thinks he's having an affair with all these other Darbys, and tells our main Darby, who then decides to go on a murderous rampage and murder anyone who deems that she deems that has wronged her. Hence some low budget carnage. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. I should point out I never actually saw the actual Barbie movie, so how many references there are in this may be a little lost on me, but you know, I enjoy a B movie, so let's talk about it. This is a very, very low budget movie. I mean, Donald Farmer's movies tend to be kind of quite low budget, but even for him, this one seems particularly low budget and quickly shot, I must say. But what can we say that works? I mean, if you like buxom tattooed women, boy have I got a treat for you, because pretty much all of these women fall under that category, and the majority of them get at least topless in this movie. So plenty of you know, bimbo-ish type kind of characters, all, you know, topless, shower scenes, all the rest of it. Lots of kind of tattooed alternate type girls to look at and things like this. And Jessa Flux is no, she's not shy about that sort of thing, let's just say. There are a few sort of funny gags in the movie. There's a couple of little lines here and there that I thought were quite funny. Some visual gags. There's, in the middle of the movie, we have this kind of almost like a kind of interruption where we have this like a dating show, which looks like it was filmed somewhere else. And it has the credits, they just go up like super fast, like ridiculously fast and things like that. So I thought that was quite funny. So there's one or two sorts of you know, little gags here and there that I think are kind of quite funny. I mean, Jessa Flux, I mean, no one's taken this movie seriously, of course, but Jessa Flux is always has quite a lot of kind of bold charisma, should we call it. And even though, you know, this movie is not one that is, I don't think has a lot of time spent being made, but you know, she still has a certain amount of charisma. The movie is mercifully quite short. It only runs about just over kind of sort of 70 odd minutes. And if you are a fan of the Barbie movie and you happen to like B movies, I think maybe you'll enjoy the kind of the meta nature of this, because there's a few sort of, you know, to say references and things like that. But this leads me into what doesn't work, because the original Barbie movie, even though I haven't seen it, I'm aware of it, was a meta movie to start with. So it seems sort of somewhat counterproductive to make a sort of meta movie about a movie that was already meta, if that makes sense. So it almost feels like it sort of missed the point. I also don't think they sort of took kind of much of an advantage of this kind of premise to have a sort of a Barbie-esque kind of style parody. I mean, it's clearly low budget, and obviously there is some serious restrictions about what they can kind of do, but it never really feels it sort of takes the premise particularly kind of like very far. A lot of it is just kind of things that people say that kind of, you know, are jokes about the kind of the toy universe and stuff like that. But I never really felt like we kind of saw much. It's all very much just like a few dialogue driven gags, but there's not a lot actually kind of like visually happening on the screen outside of a lot of TNA, to be brutally honest. The movie is so cheap. I mean, it's just, no one's expecting the acting to be good here, I would say, but it's at a level where I just think they've just kind of shot it probably, you know, one scene after another without any kind of rehearsals or like different takes. Just get it done. Let's get this movie kind of banged out, and it just seems somewhat awkward at times, even though the movie's tone is clearly kind of very much tongue-in-cheek. It just isn't particularly sort of engaging, particularly. There's a few sort of like very cheap CGI blood splats and things like that, and a few kind of like mannequin heads in place, which I guess you could arguably say if these big things are meant to be toys, and I suppose that works. But the movie really just isn't very interesting. As I say, I think this is one of those examples where it would have been a fun like short as part of a anthology, but as a feature, I have to say I was even quite looking forward to watching it, so I thought it might be quite fun. But it really isn't. It's just sort of, it feels like a premise which could have been an amusing short for 10-15 minutes, stretched out to, you know, 75 minutes or however long it is, ends up sort of becoming a little bit past its sell-by date pretty quickly, let me tell you. And even sort of the constant parade of naked flesh, it just ultimately feels like, why am I watching this? I mean, there's not really anything funny particularly about it. There's a few, outside of a few, you know, minor gags here and there. It doesn't really you know, particularly amusing, as I say. I don't think the gag works where you are, you know, having meta swipes at a film that is already very meta and obviously, you know, quite well regarded and stuff, and quite clever in its own right, whilst this one really isn't. You know, so it's neither funny, it's neither particularly interesting. It looks very, very cheap. It looks like it used relatively sort of low quality equipment, and ultimately becomes a missed opportunity. Now, had this had a little bit more budget towards it, I would have suggested it could have been a little bit more interesting. It needed to have more going on visually, I think. I think some of the gags could have worked had they been a bit more fleshed out, had a little bit more sort of time taken with it, but it just feels like a real rush job to me. With little money kind of like put into this kind of production, and ultimately makes it pretty missable, I have to say. So yeah, not one of Donald Farmer's movies I particularly enjoyed, I have to say. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10. What were your thoughts if you've seen it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
I'll give you 2 big reasons to subscribe to Geek Legion of Doom.